Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you to another beautiful episode of this program, Islam is Beautiful. A program that lets you appreciate yourselves as Muslims and adds value to you as an individual. My name is Salma Aditutulawal. Thank you for joining us.
Fortunate is he. Fortunate.
This program is sponsored in memory of Ajiya Fauziya Kende Lola Ali. May Allah grant her Al-Jannah Firdaus. Ameen.
His thoughts of Allah and Judgment Day.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Today on the program, we are going to be taking a topic that is peculiar to you, but is relevant and applicable to every human being, and that is emotional intelligence. We heard that word recently, and we know that a lot of people may be wondering, how does it apply to me? Now, we want to look at it from the Islamic perspective. We know that the general definition is the ability to be able to manage your own. Now, your own what? Your own life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. We know that we have been created to do just one thing, and that is to worship Allah. And how you worship Allah, the channel and all of that matter. And in doing this, you need emotional intelligence. And to do this chit-chatting with me, I have Sister Toiba.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sister Sakina.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And Sister Mistura.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. You're welcome, my sister. Now, in the 21st century, we believe that things are happening differently to some of the things that have been happening before. Now, we believe that we need emotional intelligence to be able to manage some of these conflicts happening now. Within your mind, you have so many voices telling you different things. You need emotional intelligence to be able to do this. Now, Sister Mistura, what is emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence really has to do with recognizing your own emotions, as in you identify your own emotions and others. Because in life, you don't live alone, you live with people. So like in a corporate environment, or like maybe you live with somebody you have to deal with all the time. You identify your own level of emotion, and also understand and identify that person's emotions. When you understand people's emotions and your own emotions, that way you are not upset. The other person is not made to get upset. So everybody's living harmoniously. You can live together.
Okay, mashallah. Sister Sakina, you have something to add?
Well, to add to what she said, emotional intelligence could also be a way of how you control your decisions, how you manage your thoughts, and how you relate to people, how you have a social balance, the kind of social balance you maintain with people, understanding that the person you're relating with has a feeling, and trying to understand that person's feeling too, and trying to understand how to relate with that person, trying to understand how to react in different kinds of situations.
Sister Toiba, do you have a different opinion about emotional intelligence?
Well, I don't really have a different, but the fact is, one of a healthy tip for you to live long is actually for you to be able to balance your emotion, to control your emotion. And one thing I noticed is one just has to be happy. Whatever the situation is, you must try to make sure that you are emotionally balanced. Because deep down you, when you have a challenges with yourself, you know, because you will be unstable, you'll be able to concentrate and what have you. So you have to really learn your own emotion. Try to be happy always. And one key thing I would give to people is try to smile always.
Okay.
But whatever the situation is, just smile. Wearing a smile can actually help change the aura of the environment. Even if somebody is crazy, somebody is annoyed, somebody is angry, the moment you just walk in and come up with a smile, it will first calm that person down. So smiling is another good therapy that you can use to actually balance and control emotions. And that's
beautiful. Now, as Muslims, we are in a world where we are not, you have to live with people, and the Quran specifically tells us that we must care for people around us. Now, how do you balance emotion with the creatures of Allah as Muslims, so that you don't do anything contrary to the dictates of Islam?
One of the key things is to be able, you must always read the signals. Every person you deal with, person, an animal, like you said, the dog and stuff like that, everybody and every living thing sends a signal that shows you that this person is actually happy this person is not happy. What I've done, this person likes it, so I can do it again. What I've done, this person doesn't like it, so I shouldn't do it again. When you're able to learn the signals, you tend to learn the characteristics, what that person is like and what that person doesn't like. But when you ignore the signals, you're looking for trouble because you shut your eyes to so many things, you just act blindly and you hurt the emotions of others. So, and like we've rightly said, people are different. My own signals may be different from this person's signal. So you must learn to differentiate each person with the kind of signal each he or she sends. Yeah.
So to add to what you just said, you'll have to understand people, and it takes some time. It's not something, what applies to one person does not apply to another person. So you have to take time to understand how to react in different situations and different environments too. So most importantly, you have to find a way, you have to broaden your heart to learning. You have to learn that people are different and situations, environments, societies are always different. So in that way, you'll be able to manage your emotions so that you know when you know when it becomes you're overdoing things and you know how to maintain a balance.
Alhamdulillah, we are Muslims. Because one of the major things that actually make us have a negative emotion is when we get angry. Our Rasulullah said, for you to be the best person, stay out of anger. And you know, especially we are in a recession era now, so almost everybody is angry. It will be amazing that just at the road, just little thing will just come up, and before you know it, they've started fighting and things like that. Or while you're driving, somebody will drive wrongly, and you start abusing each other and what have you, and everything gets aggressive. The word is we should just recognize what is going on now. We should actually try to be able to accept people's other feelings and actually think and say, maybe we don't know what the state of mind such person is. So especially while we are on the road, while we're in public places, we should try as much as possible to control our emotion. And as Muslims, we are not expected to actually abuse people back or you speak back against anybody. Because there's an hadith of Rasulullah that said he was watching through side and one of his Sahabis were coming and somebody was abusing the Sahabi. The Sahabi and Rasulullah was laughing while the other kafir was abusing one of his companions. So he was laughing. And suddenly the companion looked at Rasulullah and looked at the person. Rasulullah was laughing and he replied the person abusing. And immediately he replied the person that was abusing. Rasulullah just left the scene. So when he now got to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, why did you leave? You were laughing when he was abusing me. And when I replied, you left. Rasulullah said, for a believer, when any person is abusing you or when it causing, what I saw then was as if the person was abusing you, the angels were actually covering you. So what that person was saying was going back to the person. But the moment you replied, then the angels left. So, and I don't want to watch anything negative. That was why I left. So that is why when you're driving and any other person comes to you, they abuses you, I actually pray for them and laugh. And that is part of what those people will learn from you, that she's a Muslim, she doesn't have to abuse people.
Now, when it comes to the relationship with yourself, sometimes you're praying to Allah for something. You're praying and you're doing something different. You're not following the dictates of Allah. And a part of you is telling you that prayer is not getting answered because of this vice that you have. Now, the emotional intelligence that you apply in that kind of situation is to caution yourself and consciously do good. In dealing with Allah and dealing with your own self, what are the ways that we can bring this concept into play?
Yes, mashallah. First of all, as a Muslim, we should always know two things. Number one is trial. A trial is always the part of the life of a Muslim. So when this test or these tribulations come, we should stand firm and don't break down. That's number one. Then number two, the key to acceptance of prayer is having a very strong faith that your prayer is accepted. So as a Muslim, whenever you pray to Allah, you should always have a strong belief that the prayer you have said is going to be answered. And at the same time, you might not see the manifestation of what you have requested for, but you should always remember that Allah says, "Ista'inu bis-sabri was-salat." That whenever you seek for help from Him, you should come with a lot of patience and salat. While at the same time, you should always remember and be conscious of those little things you do that would hinder the acceptance of your prayer. You should be conscious of, okay, Allah has said I shouldn't do this, I have not done it. So that when you stand before Allah and you want to pray, you tell God, oh God, you told me not to do this, I have not done it. You told me to do this, I have done it. I have observed my prayers at the right time, I have done this. And Allah says...
It's a way of studying the situation, studying what You have studied the Quran, you have studied this, and you know what Allah wants.
Yeah, so you play your own part. Allah says, do yours, and He's going to do it. Fulfill your promise. Allah
He's going
says,
to do much
fulfill your
more.
promise to Him, and He will do much more to you. So very, very important for us to understand that Allah has a way of judging us, and that is even beyond our own comprehension.
Because sometimes when we don't get what we want to cry,
Yes.
it's a way of not
We
being
should
able
not
to
break
manage
down
our
because it
emotions.
might be that Allah is probably not granting you what you have requested for at that particular
not good
time,
for you.
and it is accepting another prayer. But you're requesting for a car, and Allah knows that car is not what is best for you at that time because you might have an accident, and you are not even a good driver. You are not patient on the road, and Allah it's not time for you to have that car. So just relax and let the will of Allah be done. Once you have requested, and keep praying to Allah. Allah knows what is right for us at a particular time. Leave your destiny to Him.
Because, we may say they are children, we don't need to, you understand? How can we use that concept in achieving a very good way of bringing up a good Muslim child?
That's a very, very complex one because children, human beings are the most difficult people to manage. And as a parent, particularly, we have to be first of all, the rock bottom of everything is you have to exhibit a lot of patience. A lot of patience. Then, as she rightly said, Satoiba, you have to be able to broaden your heart to receive shocks, then manage anger. So that when your children do something, your expectation from them is this, and they do this. You know how to balance it so that the utterance, whatever you speak to them, you don't say what will be negative to them because the angels, you don't know what angels would record whatever you say. And children, particularly, sometimes they could walk you up, they could get you so mad. Imagine a mother trying to get her kids set for school, you've dressed them off, they put on their uniform, they're in the car, you're driving out, Mommy, I want to poo. It gets you mad, this child. And at the end of the day, you realize you overreact sometimes. So as a mother, you have to learn to balance it. You have to learn self-control.
Because that singular act can actually put the child off for life. He won't trust you again.
And at the end of the day, you break the child's emotions. And the child gets to school, he doesn't perform well. And the child loses confidence in you. And the child breaks down emotion. I wanted to poo. Poo is nature, for crying out loud. Fine, you're a career mother. You were in a rush to go to your work. But at the same time, you have to understand that this child is helpless. If he could do it himself, he would have sorted out himself without you even knowing at all. But as parents, we have to know that these children, we are accountable. And they are so sensitive, especially the children of these days. They are so fragile. You can break down a child forever and ever in the child's life by just one word. That you stress me. Children have different thresholds. Some children, the word you stress, some of my children, one of my daughters, if you just say a single thing, she breaks down, she switches off, throws tantrum for 24 hours. And the other one, even if you tell her anything, she doesn't even care. Continue saying, Mom, the next thing, Mom, can I have something to eat? But the other one, she switches off and so you have to understand that children have different emotions, and as a parent particularly, it's not easy. Because they watch just
the number of children you have is the number of study.
And I think what actually affects us most is transfer of aggression. At times, when you get emotionally down, you transfer your aggression. Your children, they are actually looking at you. If you smile, they know you are happy. If you're happy, they know. If you're sad, they know. So we should just try for the children. And in fact, their brain is actually more functional than ours now, because they are genius and they just can catch at every glimpse. That's why I always encourage that even maritals within couples, they should try as much as possible. Whatever is going on within them, they should not allow the children to know. Because when you have rifts in the presence of your children and in the morning when they are going to school, this might affect them throughout the day. So we should just try to balance our emotions.
And you fake a smile. When the smile is not real, in the presence of the children.
A lot of parents do something. You say, go and tell the person that I'm not around. Somebody's knocking. Go and tell the person that I'm not around.
That's a very, very bad one because you're destroying the child's... You're already teaching your child how to tell lies. And in the future, if not even that alone, some children will tell you, I'll give you biscuits. When you know there is no biscuit at home, I'll give you chocolates. When you know there is no chocolate at home,
These things affect their emotions.
It affects their emotions and it teaches them that, you could just say it because it's part of life. My mom says it and she doesn't do it.
And children, deep down, children are honest.
Yes.
So when you tell them, I'll give you biscuit, they believe you. So when you now don't give them, you indirectly are teaching them how to lie. Or you don't know. And then they keep part of emotional intelligence is learning what motivates one.
Yes.
For children, even for co-workers, for people that you live with, you have to learn what motivates them, what makes them work maximally.
That's as a boss.
Yeah,
now.
as a boss, even as a parent, you want to teach your children something, or you want to make sure she knows something. Know what motivates him or her. What motivates this child might be different from that one. So when you learn what motivates them, then you get them to work maximally. Even you benefit, you work less.
And at the end of the day, you get the better part of everything.
Like if you're an employee and you have employers under you, you know, there's when
You're an
you pay-
employer,
you have some employee under you, you have to actually work with their emotions, because it is so obvious that the way you treat those that you meet on the way while going up, it's actually important, because it can actually pull you down. So when you, no matter the level of those that are below you, just make sure you show this kind of, you balance your emotion, you'll be happy. Some people can't even just walk up to their bosses. When you go there, the boss shouts and, you know, what have you, we don't know what is wrong with the boss and stuff like that.
They don't know you.
They don't know you. They can't even come close to you, because everything you wear it on your face, everything you wear it on your face as if you're the only one that has challenges. So we just try to be able to match, to bury whatever is going on.
And fake
inside
it
us
smile.
And fake it smile.
And fake it smile.
Smile
It's
can
part
go a
of the
very
leadership
long way. It's a
quality.
leadership quality. You must, anywhere you go to, people should be ready to actually flow with you, and they should see you as a solution provider. That's when somebody when she comes in, okay, everybody is stressed, okay, we have challenges.
Calm down
When
the
somebody,
situation.
when she comes, let's wait for her. When she comes, she will definitely find a solution, even if there is no solution. At least just teasing around, making people happy, and just changing the way of
mood, the
thinking, the
atmosphere.
mood can actually go a long way in helping us.
To add to what she said, it goes a long way to actually empathize. When you use emotional intelligence, you empathize a lot. You think about, okay, I have my problems, well, she probably has her own problems too.
And
So
they're
why-
probably more
more than mine. So
mine.
why should I burden that person with my own problem? So you should always think for people.
If
As
we
in,
think
always
like that,
yeah.
the
If
world
you think
will-
like that, things would be much more easier.
Now, how can we use the concept of emotional intelligence in dealing with our spouses?
Okay,
Well,
first of all, as a Muslim, as a Muslim, we should know one thing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Al yawma yawmaini, yawma laka wa yawma alayka." That for a Muslim, there are always two scenarios. There are always 2 days. A day that will favor you, and a day that will not favor you. If you have this at the back of your mind, and you have prayed, ista'inu bis-sabri was-salat, you are praying with a lot of patience and perseverance, Allah is going to find a way to help you overcome the problem. If you're a wife and your husband is not funding the home, with you put in the little you can. After all, one thing I tell people that come, females, that your husband has 2 hands, you also have 2 hands. He has 2 legs, you have 2 legs. You are the mother. Find a way of providing for your children. Find a way of solving the problem at the immediate time, at least for your
It's
children
still
to
a
have.
strategy of emotional
It's the
intelligence.
strategy of emotion, being creative, finding a solution to the problem at least. And as a mother, you shouldn't get down, because if you get down, who do you want your children to lean on? You have to be strong for the sake of your children. If your husband is not funding the home, try to sit up as a mother. Look at his weaknesses. You work on it for the sake of the betterment of your children's life. If your husband is not being responsible enough, try to fill in the gap. And when you fill in the gap, at least for the children to come up. And by the grace of God, Allah says you're trying your best. It's going to crown your effort. Be you a Muslim or a non-Muslim. A Muslim would always run to an imam. A Christian will always run to his pastor. Wherever, you always have somebody to run to. That is why our suicidal rates are lower. We always have somebody we see as closer to God, or somebody we see as a spiritual person to run.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us. We take a short break now to show you the book that we will have recommended for this topic, and then we take our question and fact for the week, inshallah. We shall return to round up this program. Bismillah.
On this episode of the program, we shall be recommending to you this 475-page book titled Don't Be Sad, written by Ahid Ibn Abdullah Al-Qarni. Don't Be Sad is an important book for all. It is full of practical advice on how to repel despair and replace it with a pragmatic and ultimately satisfying Islamic outlook on life. It exposes to the modern reader how Islam teaches us to deal with the tests and tribulations of this world. At a time in which the Muslims are beset with trials from every corner and within, comes this heartening book, rooted in the commandments of Allah, the Sunnah, and the excellence, guidance, and examples of the Muslims that came before us. This book contains verses of the Quran, sayings of the prophets, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and of his companions, as well as of the wise. This book is a culmination of deep and organized thoughts, saying to you, be happy, be at peace, be joyful, hold firmly onto the rope of Allah, and don't be sad. Take this book today, read and add value to your life. Remember, readers are leaders.
Fortunate is he. Fortunate.
This program is in memory of Ajiya Fauziya Kende Lola Hali. May Allah grant her Al-Jannah Firdaus. Amen.
His thoughts of Allah and Judgment Day.
Every second I live, every penny I give is just for you. Every breath I breathe, every trace I leave is just for you. Every second I live, every penny I give is just for you. Every breath I breathe, every trace I leave is just for you.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, this is still Islam is beautiful, and we are talking emotional intelligence, balancing what concerns you professionally, personally, and every relation wise. Now, Sister Mistura, you will tell the viewers out there in one word how emotional intelligence, how important it is in living this world that we're in, this dunya, because we have to do the end before we do Jannah. So how can emotional intelligence make you attain Jannah ultimately?
To live in the world, generally, we're different people, different color, race, and everything. To live in the world, you need emotional intelligence, because to attain Jannah, to live peacefully with people, and then to ultimately achieve our aim of Jannah, you need to train yourself on emotional intelligence, because one of the key parts of emotional intelligence is understanding people, understanding their situation, understanding their needs.
Because people can make or mar you.
Yeah. So when you understand people, it's either you contribute to their lives or you leave them alone. You don't add more to their problems. And then that way you can even help out more, because when you understand the people and you understand the logic, the reason, the basis behind their needs, then you're motivated to help. And that not only makes you a better Muslim, it is also a key way to Jannah, because that way you won't be judging anybody falsely.
And then your sins will be less.
Yes.
Mashallah. Mashallah.
Yes, mashallah. To the religious heads, to the religious leaders, you should also always realize that you're human beings and you'd always give account to God how you managed your folks. So if somebody comes to you for a kind of counseling or a kind of help, you try to do it in a constructive manner with the fear of God.
Not
because,
your opinion.
Sorry?
Most times people use their own
Yes, with guidance from God. You don't say things that you're not sure of, and you don't say things to shatter the person further. And you should always remember that for the person to have trusted you, to come to tell you, you should know the person came in confidence to you, and you should know that the person, don't break the person down by telling another person whatever the person keeps in your hands. You should always try to find positive ways of bringing the person out of the problem and trying to encourage the person that there's always tomorrow, and tomorrow would always be better than today. As the Quran says, فَإِنَّ مَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَا الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. That for every day that is difficult, that the next day will be, there's always ease after hardship.
So even if that's the only word you tell the person,
Yes.
I think that should suit the person than telling the person, I can't take what you have just taken. That is rubbish.
Or telling the person, narrating a dream or narrating a revelation that is false to further complicate the person's problem.
Most times, because
And that
only
is why
Allah
we
knows.
should also sit up. We should also sit up. There is nobody that is special in the sight of God. We are created equal. We should also
And
sit
also
up and
pray
create a
ourselves.
good relationship with our God, so that we see ourselves in a situation where we are the best person before God in our own sights. Have a good relationship with God.
May Allah make it easy for us.
Mashallah, for the youths, I just think one thing that is paramount and most important is they should just have the fear of Allah. Anything you do, anything you think you want to do, it's not about it's old school, it's not about it is now a generation, it's not about they don't understand. All your watchword should be what Allah says and what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recommend. If we live our life completely to those two things, definitely we are Jannah and everything about us will go smoothly.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, my sisters. Now, we can see that whether we like it or not, we all need to be emotionally intelligent. Not for anything, but for ourselves. We shouldn't sound selfish, but for the sake of the reason we are here on earth, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we must be emotionally intelligent, because ultimately we all want to attain Jannah, and some of those things that we do on earth, we need emotional intelligence to be able to do them well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, guide our path, and make it easy for us. Don't forget our slogan on this program. Do not tell people that you're a Muslim, let them see that you are a Muslim. I thank you, my sisters, for coming, and I thank you, viewers, for watching. Do join us again next week for another enlightening episode of this program. In the meantime, don't forget, be emotionally intelligent so that you can have a good life. May Allah make it easy for us. From my sisters and I here, we say
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The thing